right, welcome to another episode of Two Fat Guys Talking Flowers, where we're always gonna give you the good, the bad, the ugly about flowers. I'm Fern, here with Joel and Brian. Unfortunately, Mike is out today, and our awesome, amazing, kick-ass guest is none other than Willum van den Hoogen, Managing Director of Florius International. What's up, my man, Willum? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Just came in from Colombia, so got a little bit adjusted to the time zone.
This guy lives the life. You live in Dubai now, right?
Yeah, live in Dubai.
Live in Dubai. You guys now have a new farm, right? It's a new farm in Colombia, so I can only imagine you're constantly going to Colombia.
Not me so much, but my brother is flying in every month from the Netherlands.
Oh wow!
And we have a very good team there on the ground. And we're in an area where there are not a lot of flower growers. We're in the Baie de Cauca, where we grow the flowers and process them in Pereira. So yeah, we are only a little handful of growers in that area, but we're coming now into the US market, and you guys are buying our spray Veronicas, and yeah, it's fantastic.
Love the spray Veronicas. Really cool stuff. So Florius International, they grow the world famous Coco series Hypericums, the best Hypericums I would say on the market.
Do you know the song "I'm in Love with Coco"?
Yeah, I saw that.
I just want to make sure you should know.
Yeah,
we've used the song. You've used it for
so
our marketing a couple of times.
Yeah,
we're in love
the only
with the
thing I
Coco.
can think of when I hear Coco Hypericum. That song plays in my head.
Yeah,
I'm in love with the Coco.
we got the information for you guys, and that number went round. Yeah, for sure.
Good stuff. Veronicas. And that's it. Those are the only two products you're growing right now, right?
Yeah, at the moment we are. But basically, we're summer flower growers. That is where the history comes from. And we have close to 40 different crops, quite unique crops, which we have in our... because we're breeders. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we us as growers.
So hold on. You guys bred
everything.
Coco series Hypericum and the Smart Veronica?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that is basically the history of the heritage of Florius. We are... in principle, we're breeders, but we're breeders who grow the flowers ourselves, and that makes it very unique. So
that's awesome.
So we breed also to grow on our own places and our own spots and on our own partner farms.
So while you're doing the breeding, do you guys also sell off some of your breeding or some of your genetics to others, or you just keep it? It's all internal.
No, the whole idea, the whole concept
of I'm keeping it for myself.
So you can only get the smarts and the Cocos from
Florius. That's smart.
That makes perfect sense.
Controls the market.
There are in Europe some growers who grow some cocos in the fall, but the majority, what we really specialize in is to breed for our own farms, because then you can also really breed for that specific altitude, for that specific soil, for that specific climate, and like here in the United States, breed for the American market.
So
that's probably why Lane is so successful, because he's breeding specifically for his farm.
For his farm himself in the same
that's why
climate.
He's got that perfect.
So you're the majority of your farms are in Africa, correct?
Yeah. So we got 3 farms in Kenya. That's the largest bulk of the volume. Then we have 4 farms in Ethiopia. One is actually the 4th one is opening up in close to 2 to 3 weeks with production. And we have a farm in Colombia.
Wow. Now, are your farms anywhere near that fisher that's starting to make in Africa?
In my head, I was just thinking, like, I don't want to be ignorant and ask. Is this
I gotta ask.
You know, Africa's splitting up, right? It's breaking.
Oh, yeah. You mean the Rift Valley?
The Rift.
Yeah, definitely. We grow around the Rift Valley.
So you're right around. I thought it was Ethiopia. That's why I had to ask.
Yeah.
So soon you're gonna have waterfront property. Your value might go up.
Yeah, maybe some
scary.
We're
that
a family company,
scary,
so some
man.
generations down the road. But that takes some. That definitely will take some time.
So, quick question: what's the splitting in Africa for the people that don't know?
Okay, so
we're not the right ones to be teaching that.
I'm more of a conspiracy theorist by hobby. But apparently, there's a piece of Africa that has a big rift, and the rift keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it's noticeable now to the size where it looks like the country is gonna split to a point, and it'll reach the ocean, so that should fill up with water, right? Am I right? Is
Yeah,
that what's
on
going
the
on?
part with water? I'm not fully right, but I'm not really sure. But the Rift Valley is a part which indeed breaks off of Africa. The east part of Ethiopia, Somalia, Kenya. That part is where the Rift Valley goes through. That is slowly drifting apart. But then we're looking at a very, very long time scale.
Long time, right?
Geological. But we do have hydrothermal. For example, Kenya is now already on several spots, in Lake Naivasha is getting its energy from hydrothermal because you're quite close to hot water. Yeah, if you drill down, and that's also from an energy production. It's quite
How
quite
do you
good.
guys use the hydrothermal? I mean, you literally use the warm water to power.
Yeah,
your farm?
not so much with us, but they're in the area. They're more and more. Then with that they run turbines, and with the turbines they create energy. So it's
Wow,
actually
that's
super
amazing.
super
Technology, man.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah.
That is so cool. We in Ecuador, unfortunately, in the Cotopaxi, the region that we grow in, the Cotopaxi volcano has been active more and more, spewing out ash, and
All the snow top peak is covered in ash, so you don't see the snow anymore.
you don't see the snow anymore, and that's that's scary. It's letting out ash. I mean, and you've heard about all these eruptions, throughout the whole fissure, that whole fissure that runs from like Alaska all the way down through Central and South America. It's crazy. I know Guatemala had an eruption. Couple other regions. It's crazy out there. So you have that fissure. I think that's awesome. I think it's awesome because you could have beachfront property one
I
day.
don't think people are thinking about
Is
it
it close? Is it close to your farm?
the Rift Valley. So the Rift Valley is where a lot of flowers are being grown in Kenya. So that's actually a very nice area, and we have a lot of lakes. So you have water. That is an area where a lot of flowers are grown.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I guess the soil must be super good there.
Yeah, we're on what we have on nearly on all our farms. Every farm is on different altitudes. So we have one farm on Lake Naivasha, which is quite low altitude, and we have in Nakuru is mid altitude. We're close to the mountains of Mount Kenya. There is still snow, which you can see, and then we're high altitude. And by mixing that all up, we can create different products at different
So many
altitudes.
regions you're able to breed in so many different climates. That's cool.
Yeah,
How many farms in total?
8.
Oh, sick.
How many hectares in total?
I think we're close to we're about 120 hectares of effective production
Wow.
on all the farms.
Wow.
I think you're looking roughly, but it's always difficult. How many hectares you have? Yeah, it's different because summer flowers you need a lot of land. You need a lot of land to rotate and to regenerate the soil, and it's just different as with.
Are the Hypericums, are those long-lasting crops that stay
Yeah.
there, and then the Veronica as well, or you constantly re-pull the Veronica and replant?
Hypericum is a long-lasting crop, so we try to keep that in the soil between 5 to 7 years. Where Veronica, you keep on going. You're pretty much replenishing it.
Every time. So
Not every time, but it's a shorter cycle crop. Where Hypericum is a long cycle crop.
Nice. So hold on. We're getting ahead of ourselves. I got all these questions.
Yeah, we jumped right into it.
Yeah, sorry. I got excited.
We're fatty down. We're winging it. We're winging it.
So let's go back. Let's go back in time. You're a young guy, so we're not going back that far. How did you get into the flower industry? Where did you start? And how did you end up, head of an amazing company like Florius? Talk to us.
Yeah, for me, I as a little kid was on a bike harvesting flowers near the road in Holland. We have a flower called Tanacetum. These yellow round flowers, and if you were harvesting under the street poles, they were actually faster because on the light flowers grow faster. So I was harvesting these and those I was sending to the auction. So that is actually how I got into the flower business.
You were foraging in the streets and sending flowers to the auction in Holland.
Yeah.
How old were you then?
I was like 11, 12.
Man, the Dutch don't mess around. You get working early. Over
No,
there.
it was funny. It was full of aphids and that kind of stuff. But my dad is a flower grower in the Netherlands, so he's a breeder. He's always been a breeder. He's growing flowers since he's 16 on a small plot of land.
What was his growing specialty? What did he grow?
Summer flowers.
Summer flowers too.
So my dad is head of all the breeding within Florius. So Florius
makes sense.
is a family company.
Right on.
And yeah, we've always in our house we had we were living upstairs and downstairs was a flower shop. So we had a flower shop, we had a summer flower farm in Holland, and basically the flowers which were grown were sold in. My grandma was selling that in the shop, And yeah, over the years,
So he's always supplied himself. He's always been, a grower.
the
and,
whole chain, right?
The
Top to
whole
bottom,
chain,
right
top
there.
to bottom. Love that.
and my dad brought these flowers to the auction. So he auctioned off, and then in the morning he bought flowers for his flower shop. But then over the years, he's a breeder, so he developed new varieties. So he partnered up with another Dutch grower from the area, who's also he did basically the same. And he had Floxes, my dad had Veronicas, and eventually they partnered up in the mid-90s. And for like, hey, wait a second, we're growing summer flowers in the summer. There's only business in the summer. There's no income in the winter. Yeah, maybe some flower shop income, but no, there's no summer flowers in the winter. In Holland, it's cold. So, but these varieties we had, they would do well on the equator. Because on the equator we have 12 hours of sun, 12 hours of night. So you can grow day round.
It doesn't matter.
You don't need to heat up. You don't need gas to heat the greenhouse. You don't need lights. It's always beautiful weather. So they partnered up with a group of British Kenyans who started to grow these flowers. And then in the Netherlands, we would market them. So my father would put these to the auction. And that eventually slowly developed on and on and on. And then eventually from Kenya came some farms in Ethiopia, and still very much oriented for the European market. And basically that's at that stage in the mid 2000s is where I kicked in. I studied international business in Groningen in the Netherlands, and I did on an internship with Mayash Wholesale.
Nice.
In Los Angeles. So that gave me a bit of an insight of the flower market. I learned a lot from that company.
Yeah.
And that location is in the LA flower market.
Yeah,
right?
they're in the LA flower
awesome.
market.
That's great. Yeah,
that's a great experience.
That's more than one location you're learning, and you're learning from a lot of people there.
Yeah, no, it was a fantastic company, a real family company, like multiple layers of family working in that business. And it was a tough time when I was working there because it was through the whole financial crisis period. But yeah, they came out very strong, had good management. So I learned a lot there at that company. And eventually I opened up my company here in the United States, because what I saw happening, and not particularly just the US, but what I saw happening also in Asia, is that we were shipping these flowers from Kenya and Ethiopia to the Netherlands, supplying them all to the auction. And then traders were buying these flowers out, taking them. So we ship boxes, put them in buckets. And then traders take them out of a bucket, put them in a box again. And then shipping them to the United States, shipping them to Japan. And I was like, wait a second. Why don't I ship direct from Ethiopia to Japan? And nobody was doing that. So that is where I stepped in. So I opened up my company here in the US in 2011, and opened up a company in Dubai in 2013, and started with my team with that. And yeah, basically taking products straight from Ethiopia and Japan, because air freight from Ethiopia and Japan is the same price as from the Netherlands into Japan. So that means that the difference from Ethiopia into the Netherlands is your profit. So
nice.
So that's eventually where this game came.
And the flowers got less transport and less mechanical damage from being handled and
fresher.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. So that's basically where, if you're looking at the cycle, that's where I came in. So I'm more on the inside, on the sales side, and I've been selling at that point. I thought, okay, if I can do these Veronicas and Hypericums, I can also buy roses and freesia and status, and I was buying Hypophilia and then at some point, it's like, okay, I cannot do that on my own. I need a team. And so I moved to Dubai, and I'm in the Dubai Flower Center with my office. We run a team now with 15, where we work from 7 in the morning till 9 in the evening. So we can cover Sydney to San Francisco. And so all the time zones. We have specialists in IT, in customer service, in finance, in logistics.
Do you guys run like two crews, like a morning crew and an afternoon crew?
Yeah, we have a 7 to 5 crew and an 11 to 9. And that eventually covers. And then
that covers everything.
Yeah, and then we rotate a bit. So we're also in the weekends.
Do you do the mornings or the afternoons?
I do any shift. I'm not.
I'm basically. You're there. He's there from 7 to 9.
No, not that much. No, I roam around a bit and within it, and especially if after 9 something goes wrong, then people can call me.
Right.
So that's the deal. So at some stage I was buying a lot of the other different products, and then at the stage like, hey, wait a second, this is not working. I cannot buy all, trade with other farms. So we eventually really closed. Maybe you can remember, I started here as Sunkist Flowers, so we switched. Mm-hmm. So we rebranded everything into Florius so that all farms are the same. And I went exclusively focusing on the Hypericums and the Veronicas. And that's what we're doing as of this day. And And
it's what
you're
you
one
breed,
of my best
it's
clients
what
here.
you control. It's,
Yeah.
it's amazing that he gets it all the way from Kenya and Ethiopia all the way down here to Miami. I mean,
And the quality of how good it is.
Of how good it is, and it's not. There's no direct flight. It's not like There's no direct flight that comes directly into Miami. That's the challenge with African flowers, because a lot of people have tried, and we've tried a lot of different types of African flowers. We've tried some proteas and stuff, and sometimes they come in good, but if there's a hiccup in the transport, forget it. The flowers, the foliage.
You just gotta buy a plane. That's all we need. Get a Florius plane that'll just run.
Your dad won't let
right
me
here to
fly
the
a
airport
plane.
here.
The key problem is you can fly thing in, but what do you fly back?
Yeah.
And that's nearly
I'm
the
sure
whole.
they can find something.
Yeah, that's
Take
the
passengers. People want to go visit.
No, so that is what we did. So that is why I started here in 2011. I started in Washington D.C. I think one thing I share, we as Florius share quite closely also with Chat Fresh, is that we're super anal on the whole cold chain operation, and we monitor, and you guys as well monitor every single shipment. And what I try to do is to keep flowers as close as possible to 1 Celsius, so 33 Fahrenheit. Mm-hmm. That is my golden number where I want to be in. And for example, in Washington D.C., there were all these planes from Ethiopia, passenger planes, because actually in Washington, Ethiopians are the largest minority in the city. So there's
a ton of Ethiopian restaurants and stuff out there.
That's awesome.
It's a big thing.
I didn't know that.
And every single day there was a plane from Ethiopia going into Washington D.C. and was no cargo in it. A little bit of pancakes, but for the rest injera, but for the rest not much. So I started putting flowers on there, but I'd done the tour and I looked at it and said, guys, without a proper cooler, I cannot import. So we managed that we could put our own cooler at the airport.
Wow.
And this is 2011. Up to this day, that cooler is still cooling your flowers. I have my own cooler in Washington, D.C.
Nice.
And we set up this protocol.
That's impressive to get a cooler in an airport. Impressive you got an airport to agree to that.
Yeah, I also kind of I never ever managed to do that afterwards, but they didn't had it, and it was like a little bit of juggling, and eventually I said, okay, I'll pay for it. I'll put it down there, and it's still there. They pay for one party pays for the electricity, operation party puts the flowers in, and I provided the cooler, and that eventually managed. I put that cooler at 0.5 Celsius, so it's super cold. So these flowers arrive relatively warm out of Africa because it's a long flight. But there is a protocol there that the moment these flowers arrive, immediately they get chimney stacked, so that there's a little bit of space between these boxes, and then into that super cold cooler. And
we call that, that's when Berman air stacks for us.
Yeah. And by doing that, I've been able to build this market. And that cooling element, up to this day, I find it one of the most important things of shipping flowers. And I want to keep, whatever supply chain I built, that is where I look for. And that is eventually, because the quality on the farm, the growing, I'm not much involved in the quality of the flowers. That's what the team, the farming, the growing team do. But the moment it's in the box, it's my responsibility. And I want to make sure that it arrives as good as possible to you guys and eventually your customers.
Love a responsible grower, because cold chain is one of the best parts of receiving flowers. In order to be able to sell, we're speculators, right? We buy speculation. We have a large order with you every week that we bring in hopes that the team is able to sell it, and luckily the flowers are high quality, great looking, beautiful Hypericums and Veronicas, and we're able to move them on a weekly basis. But if he wasn't so anal about the cold chain, we would struggle.
Yeah.
Because if the flowers come in and there's a little bit of brown foliage, that's it. Everyone wants to claim the box, or it's never fun.
Yeah, and that works. And what works, you got to focus on. So
yeah, and you can see the quality difference too when you compare it to other ones. Like, it's pretty noticeably different.
I think Willum's got a monopoly on the market. There's nothing as nice as the Coco series Hypericums. Nobody's the berries or the balls on the flower on it. No one else's is as big. He's got big balls.
Sorry. Don't forget we're 6. We're 9-year-olds.
Yeah. We're mentally challenged sometimes. Love it. So wow, so it is I didn't know it was a family company.
And I heard you say you had a brother earlier. Is there more siblings?
Yeah, I've one of my sister. I have 2 older sisters. One of my sisters lives in Chile, so she does social media and for us as a brand. Mm-hmm. And my other sister she's not in the company, working in the company, but she's working in a digital agency.
Okay, doing marketing and
Yeah, that
whatnot.
kind of stuff, websites.
And then your brother helps out, so he goes to Colombia.
Yeah, yeah. My brother is a how do you call it in English? An agronomist,
Okay.
and he's very much on that element. We have a very strong team of experienced growers. One of our growers, for example, in Colombia, has been also a grower for us in Ethiopia, and but my brothers come in every month to. They see the quality. We do a lot of research in the Netherlands, also a lot of breeding research, but also quality research. From every farm we have, every week shipments go to Holland. Always a part of the sales, even though out of Ethiopia, 90% I sell outside of Europe, still that 10% comes into Holland. And most importantly is that quality check. And then
Nice.
the whole product
Nice.
gets assessed. And sometimes we even put production on hold. So if you are like, hey, this product's not available,
Right.
that can be either there might be a problem.
We
And
get
we say we stop it.
We get spoiled whenever we get one of those emails. What do you mean it's not going to be available for 6 weeks? What happened?
Yeah.
So talk to us on the challenge of, beginning to grow in Colombia, another country, another region. Your family had been growing for decades already in Ethiopia and Kenya, and how was that change and how has that process been in Colombia?
Yeah, it started more or less here in the United States because I'm bringing product in from Ethiopia into the US for quite a while. But I also saw that freight-wise, I'm dealing with passenger aircraft. There's a limitation to what I can do. I'm not actually quite lucky because I'm flying a lot into Washington DC, and since a few months I'm now flying also straight into Miami on Emirates, which is fantastic because it's much faster. But still, it's far away. Costs are quite high on that air freight. It's difficult to do that world class. Mm-hmm. Going to South America, you have very short supply chains. So longer run, it makes sense to grow flowers from North America out of South America, and that's also where most of the growers were. So yeah, I saw there was a market here, and I also saw that in Colombia itself there was a lot of bouquet makers, and they are actually importing Hypericum, my type of flowers, out of Ecuador into Colombia, and I thought, okay, why don't you grow it in your own country? And everybody tried and went into that, and we thought, okay, maybe we can give it a go. Mm-hmm. We can be a boutique player, sells to the wholesale, sells to some of the bouquet makers, growing different stuff, growing stuff where these massive operations don't grow.
No one's growing it. No one's growing Veronica. I mean, no, even like Veronicas, they're growing those in Ecuador, but nobody's growing that in Colombia, right?
Yeah, a little bit is grown on some variety, but yeah, we have a gene pool which is totally different as the gene pool which is used for that. So we thought, okay, we can bring something different to the market. I started with Hypericum, and but yeah, so that was my thought. I said, okay, if I want to do this well, want to cover the whole world, and we want to grow our own varieties, and we're not leasing it out or we're not giving it out, we grow it ourselves, we have to be somewhere in South America. So therefore I thought, okay, Colombia is the right place because you can do both wholesale, mass market, you can mix it a bit up.
Yeah.
And when looking around, went into Bogota, and then huge city, one of the biggest cities in the world, and they're growing next door. And you look in all these lands, and it's basically factory area where I need a lot of land to grow flowers. Summer flowers, you need a lot of land, so you can circulate, you can let land to rest. And I looked at Bogota, I was like, yeah, Bogota is not the place. It's too expensive also. I couldn't really get that going. And I looked at the Rio Negro, Medellin, where you buy a lot of flowers, and there everywhere was building residential housing. So I said, okay, wait. We have to think, this country is super huge. It's getting safer in the country. We have to look out of the box. So that's what we did. We went looking out of the box, and we eventually ended up in the Valle de Cauca. Because it's a beautiful, the Cordillera runs.
So where's that region?
It's northwest of Cali.
Northwest of Cali.
Yeah, it's northwest Cali. So it's eventually the same mountain range as Ecuador. And I can the story I probably can write a book about how we found the farm, because we've been driving on we
have Joel add some dramatic music to this.
Yeah. No, it can be out of a movie, this, because we hired Julian Perez, who now is also our general manager in Colombia. And then he went searching for areas. So he went on donkeys and to places, and he went calling everywhere where land was for sale, because I needed land, and I wanted 100 hectares, flat land, so we can grow some flowers. and with good climatological conditions. And then we go to this one place and this other place in the mountains, and when there was like, how do you call it, like rooster fighting pits, and I mean seriously, like this could be out of a movie. And then in Colombia, and you say, okay, we want planos, and then you think like planos is flat, but planos in Colombia is already like a steep hill.
Yeah.
And so no, it was challenging. We were driving around. We were from Cali, and we went all the way north into Antioquia, northwest into Antioquia. Did you go into villages where even some parts are, the houses are covered with anti-grenade, how do you call it, mesh in the northwest. So some areas, because eventually, if you want to grow flowers, you have to look a bit outside of the box. You have to look into villages where people are really looking for employment, and these outside areas is where to go for. But luckily, we came across a beautiful area north of La Union, so northwest of Cali in the mountains. And we found this farm, and we went into touch with the owners and with the people that control this, and we managed to get access to that land. And
what were they growing at that point?
That was just a cow farm. So the area where we're at,
land was fertile.
Land was highly fertile. So land was a cow farm. So we eventually managed to acquire some areas. Some areas we got on a long-term lease. And we just started. So we actually bought cows, because it's still a cow farm. So we bought cows, and we started with flowers.
Nice.
And the good thing about it, it's a substantial farm. And the good thing about it is, if it's some areas you're done with flowers, you bring the cows back in. So you can actually rotate, because we grow out in the sun. We're summer flower growers.
So when did this start? What did we say that already?
2018. So 2018 we acquired, and then we bought a facility in Pereira. So Pereira is like really in the middle of the city, and that's where we're processing all the flowers. So we grow them in the Valle de Cauca, and then we truck them to Pereira, and there we process them, and then we box them up, and then once a week we go to Bogota, and we ship them out to Miami.
How far is it from there to Bogota?
It's like 8 hours driving.
Wow.
So it's a serious drive.
Yeah.
But we got cool trucks. It's fully so.
Do you have? You guys going to be at Pro Flora?
I will try to. Yeah, we secured a space. So that's we're going to be. Yeah. Well, we're still a small farm.
It's for Colombian growers. So
yeah. We're part of the game.
Cool.
Now you're going to be the new kid on the block. That's awesome. So you started right before COVID. How was your COVID experience?
Yeah, it was really difficult. At least the team managed very well to get it going. But it's normally with a lot of the farms, also from growing support, we were able to fly in every month. We're there. We couldn't fly. We couldn't give them the support they needed. So what really happened? We planted Hypericum on these farms and tried it out, and we had beautiful quality Hypericum for several flushes. But then eventually we really struggled with getting that product to stay alive in the soil, where actually Hypericum you need to stay 5-6 years. So we chose like a Hypericum for now, because we took our varieties, our Coco varieties, we are basically designed for Africa into there. And now we took all the Hypericum out and we went into Veronica, because Veronica just is doing it better over there. Yeah, so we pivoted a bit in our strategy.
And now you're working on tweaking the varieties of the Hypericum so that they match.
Yeah, and we have already some good results, but that's going to take time. So therefore, we're focusing now very much on the Veronica. And the Veronicas like it over there. So they like to grow, and there comes good quality out.
Who doesn't like it in Colombia? Ask Edwin, he'll tell you.
It's a beautiful country to work in.
If you're looking for an intern, Pockets would be down.
Yeah.
Sorry, who?
Pockets.
Okay.
He loves Colombia. He tries to go once a year.
Yeah, no, it's a great place. And also in the village and with all the people, and the support we got from the government was phenomenal. From the local or the municipalities, but also the local government, that they were really wanting us to be there.
What about the other growers? Were they open arms accepting, or did you have
there were no other growers. I'm the only flower grower in
that area.
Okay, gotcha. So basically for them, and now that area where we're in, we started there, and slowly, but there's some pepper farms, there's all kinds of farms. So actually that whole area is developing, and that's good.
Well, I'm sure you guys helped build some infrastructure there, right? How long did that take? So you started the farm, you bought the land in 2018, but how long did it take to start building infrastructure and taking?
Yeah, it took a year. It went
one whole year.
pretty fast. We started sending, because we were building flower farms in Kenya and Ethiopia, so we knew what we needed. We bought a former newspaper factory from La Tarde, is a newspaper, and that's what we bought in Pereira. And we took everything out and we made it one big cold store. So
Nice.
the flowers come in, and they come in a 2 Celsius, let's say 35 Fahrenheit area. They come in crates from the farm. Then we process them at 12 Celsius, 12 to 15, so they're still cold. And then they get packed and they go to 0.5, so 33 Fahrenheit. And what we do, we bring them really to sleep. These Veronicas, we try to keep them asleep. And I even designed it in such a way that if we would ever scale up, we could send sea containers out of there. Because I do see that there is a big potential for it, also from an environmental standpoint, that you ship sea containers out to the United States.
No, that's the route a lot of people are taking. You know, even if you don't ship sea containers yourself, if you're going to ship to the mass market's going to prep it for a sea container and ship it to the United States. That's their new model, and it works very well for them. So they're able to keep their freight costs down, which keeps the cost of the flowers down. But I wish we could ship everything by sea container. I really do. I think, it'd help everybody along the chain to fight inflation and keep costs down, because that air freight ain't cheap, man. That stuff never seems to come down.
Yeah, but in a way, it's only, if you see these supply chains are quite efficient. We're close to Buenaventura on the west, on the Pacific. And you can be door to door in 2 weeks in Miami. And if 2 weeks at 0.5 Celsius, you guys can hardly see the difference.
No,
as,
you won't.
Right. 3 to 4 days flown by air, heating up here at Miami on the tarmac. So I also think, and also I said from an environmental standpoint, this is also the way to go. You're flying dedicated freighters for flowers. Yeah, that is what's happening now. But I do see that also varieties, breeding gets better. We in our breeding testing a lot. Can this product last in a sea container into the future? Because if you introduce...
How do you test for that in breeding?
No,
do you literally just put it on a sea container and ship it and see?
You can put it in the cooler for a while and then put it on the vase and see what happens.
Yep.
So basically, we're breeding for very strong varieties. Because a crop which we select now has to still be successful in 6 or 7 years from now. Correct. So if this market closely develops, I think eventually over time we will see this develop, and it is a good development, because if you need more flowers with Valentine's Day and Mother's Day here in this country. So instead of pinching, you have a rose farm, you start to pinch to get everything at once. Why don't you throw it on the sea at the end of December or the beginning of January? You keep your production steady, but everything that comes out in January, you put it on the seas, and then together with the air, it all comes together at the same point. You bang it, and with that way, you can balance supply and demand. And I've seen that it's possible. Not every variety, not every farm, you need proper infrastructure. You need to be. Yeah. It's like racing.
Like we have a boutique farm. We have 10 hectares. It'd be really tough for us to fill.
It's just a numbers game. You can't fill a sea container.
You can't fill a sea container
with that number.
But some of these farms that have 50, 60 hectares, they're able to fill a sea container or 2 or 3 in a couple of days because they have so much production going. It really is, like you said, a numbers game.
Yeah, but if you have consolidation centers,
I was going to say, if it became the standard, then numbers game wouldn't be an issue, because then
everybody would be
doing it.
Yeah. No, but what I see happening eventually for even for big farms, a full container is a lot. It's 10,000 kilos of flowers. It's a lot. But what I see happening in various countries, you get consolidation centers, and you just buy 2 pallets, which are your pallets. What you need to do from your farm to that consolidation center, you need to have it world class. Also your post-harvest, your processing, your farm needs to be, there cannot be any fungus,
We've
nothing.
shipped a couple different products that way, a couple pallet spaces, from preserved flowers to fresh flowers. We've used that mode. It's just tough to get space sometimes. It really is, as that avenue grows.
Is there a quality difference if you send the whole container of one product versus where you mix the container? Is it a difference, you think? Like if you need different products in the same container, or it all has to be the same?
No, I think it's possible. I think it's more from a USDA standpoint, maybe on clear.
Well, the challenge that you have is the USDA. So let's say there's a sea container. It holds 40 pallets. Let's say. So, and those 40 pallets are split up between 20 different vendors, 20 different customers. If one customer has one pallet that has a pest or something, the entire sea container is held and fumigated. So one guy could cause everybody's stuff to be held and fumigated.
Well, is that not the same with the plane?
No.
No.
And that's
the
quite
same.
strange, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah. With the plane, although it's an enclosed space, they all come together, they do it by farm. So if you bring in a PO of Hypericum or a PO of stock and that stock has a bug, it's only that farm stock that gets held and fumigated. Everything else gets released as long as it has no bugs. But even it's same thing, you know, it's in a plane, it's in an enclosed space. They're all right next to each other. But in the sea container, I guess because since it travels so long, it has a greater chance of spreading. They say that, but I've never seen anything come out alive out of a flower box, guys. Not once. Have you?
Yeah, definitely.
He's growing. He's definitely seen.
Not so much most, but no. I've seen
frogs.
Right, give us one.
Lizards.
Give us one. We won't tell who it was.
No, not about it. I've been processing flowers myself, like being on the floor and cutting flowers. I've seen frogs coming out, and this is maybe a long time ago, but worked also at the flower auction. I've seen things come out.
That's funny. We pranked
That's a
my
good
dad.
scare.
We
That's
pranked
a
my
good
dad. We
scare.
put a snake in the box. We told him to come check the box outside, and he opens it up. There's a fake snake inside. We've done stuff.
That's funny. Did he jump?
Yeah.
You have that video? I need to see that
That's probably before that.
before video time.
Before we were recording every single thing.
Now you watch Ryan. You'll see Ryan at the corner. If he's oddly standing somewhere, that means someone's about to get pranked.
Yeah. Safe to assume.
So what's new? What's on the horizon?
Yeah, so the key thing what I'm now trying to push here into the United States market, try to promote is on the Veronicas. It's a product which is out there, and you get it out of Holland. In like many wholesalers here in the US get it out of Holland, and left or right, there were also my own flowers, but then out of Kenya. So now to really try to bring that in from Colombia into the United States. We have fountain varieties which we might come into the future, which are fountain Veronicas, which are like super sprays. They have like hundreds of little blooms in there.
Really? I can't wait to see those.
Yeah, that's quite unique.
Does that resemble like something else? Is there a flower similar to that you say it's close to in a visual sense?
Yeah, more from a lavender, maybe a bit like lavender point of view. It's this stuff. Yeah, here you see it.
Oh, that's really cool, guys. I wish you could see what I'm looking at.
Yeah, it's
that's different.
So if I manage
send some my way. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, I don't have this yet, but at the moment we have. And what is really nice with our white Veronica, the one you're getting, they're double bloom, so they're pure white, and they really open up from the bottom all the way up. So in your wedding season, which is gonna come up in many places, that is.
I remember
Miami's a year-round wedding season.
Yeah, but you have
of course,
the country multiple
sure.
spots.
I was looking. It
These
sees
are cool.
you got new colors. You got a beautiful light pink coming out of Ethiopia, and a lavender. I don't know if I've seen the lavender. You know that light lavender color.
Yeah,
is that new as well?
Yeah, it's new. It's now in production for 2 weeks in Colombia. It's June, Veronica Smart June. So it's beautiful lavender, and with spring and Easter coming up,
You got them all. Yeah, covering them all.
So that's why and we have good availability now, and it was always limited. It was always on or off. Now you can get these things every single week.
It would always suck that we would run out or we couldn't get enough of something,
right?
And then I'd be on Easy's Dutch website and I'd see the Florius stuff that's available on the Dutch auction.
Yeah,
like damn it, Willum.
Yeah, but that comes out of Kenya.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
And that
different region. I know.
Yeah,
I know it, but it always like, damn it, I want that one.
Yeah. That's and so that's what we're now bringing in, and I think it's going to be super super cool. And then we got in the whites, we got the sprays, so they have like small headed sprays, and if you have, I think especially in the wedding industry, these white colors will do phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely.
That one that you showed me, that mega spray, is going to be a winner. I already called. When you got your first sample box, we want it.
You're going to get
a big deal. Ryan will put it on, Ryan will make a nice video on that because we're going to get excited because that is cool, man.
It's almost like a spider mixed with Veronicas.
Yeah.
It's
pretty tough.
Yeah,
really
it's going to take a bit of time. The regular sprays we do have, it's also already have these small heads, But that's something where we're developing towards. And yeah, it's a product which also lasts. It can stay 12, 13 days on the vase. So it's a super nice. It's a great shipper. It has a bit of a funky way of transport. It actually sleeps. And you guys sell it also in water. That's also fantastic. But the product actually, if it's in the box, it's asleep. And that's also the way how we ship it from our farms. We ship it sleeping.
What lullaby do you use to put your? No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry. No, we cool it. Yeah, we cool it. We cool it. We give it.
Logan likes La Lechuza.
Yeah, no, we keep it very cold and don't give it a lot of water. So the great thing about Veronica is the Veronica actually grows against gravity. If you hold it like this, if you hold it upside down, it will grow up. Yeah. So it's one of those few anti-gravity, and it's also a product which grows in the vase. It's like a
tulip. What do they call that? Is that it's not photosynthesis. It's
where they seek the sun, basically.
Phototropic or something like that.
No, sunflowers do that.
Yeah, sunflower seeks the sun, but this one actually feels the.
Okay.
You can even in a dark area, it knows where the gravity.
That'd be cool to see. Like make a video of it growing to do that.
Yeah, it does that.
So Jason, funny story. Jason, our warehouse manager, he took home a bouquet and it had your beautiful white Veronica in it, and Olga had made the flowers for him, and he's like, Fern, I gotta show you something. So he shows me a picture of when he handed his wife the bouquet, and the Veronicas were kind of like, like hanging over, kind of like an amaranthus, really pretty. They didn't look bad, but he cut them, he put it in water, and he put it in the center table that was right under the light. And he said, like 30 minutes later, he goes, dude, I stared at these flowers for like 30 minutes, freaked out, because all the Veronica was standing straight up now. They weren't like leaning over like gracefully.
You
like
can't take what he says. When he goes home, we don't know what he's smoking when he goes home, but he's got some good stuff.
You should have seen the way he came, and he's like, Fern, you gotta see this. I gotta tell you something.
Oh, man.
And he was so excited that the flowers stood straight up when they hit the light, and he was like, I couldn't believe it. They stood straight up. I was staring at them for 30 minutes.
The product actually doubles in size. When it comes out of the box, you chop it 2 centimeters and you put it with a little antibacterial and 10 centimeters of water. In the sleeve, that moment, and it's a little bit, it's a little bit asleep, and then all of a sudden it just doubles in size in the width, and it goes up, it grows a few centimeters in the heads. And that is quite unique. It's a very unique product that can do that.
Yeah.
And it's also designed to do it. And then eventually just standing up straight. And then you have a beautiful, beautiful flower.
We've had to tell several people, and you can tell who's never really bought your Veronicas, because they'll be like, oh, it looks half dead. It's bending over. I was like, dude, give it some water. Give it some water, put it in the cooler, and go see it in 30, 45 minutes. And then just don't call me, because I know you don't want to tell me I'm right. And that happens every time. I never get a phone call back.
Yeah, what we actually do is we hydrate it outside of the cooler. If you really want to have the best results, we chop it off. And so for your customers who receive it in the box, we chop it off and we put it in water in the sleeve, but outside of the cooler. It's like it's room temperature, normal room temperature, because then it goes faster.
Because it drinks the water faster.
Yeah, it really drinks. It really likes to drink it up. You see the water shrinking, going down. That's why I also have to put, 6 inches, 7 inches of water in there in order
just to make sure
because it's thirsty.
Yeah, it's thirsty. It's really thirsty. And then it goes up. And then after the straight, then you go back in the cooler, because then eventually then they're ready. And that's the way. Yeah, that's the way we do it. And we're doing that in Holland already since the early 90s. So we average all the flowers out of Kenya they come into Holland. We have a big processing facility, and we do this all day long, taking out of the box, putting it in water, trolley after trolley after trolley. So that's the way how we process this product.
Right on. So you're here in Miami right now. I said you live in Dubai. How often are you traveling? What's your schedule like? Are you like a nomad? You just moving around?
No. My wife and kids wouldn't like that if I do that. No, I'm if I do trips, I do long trips. Now I'm 3.5 weeks on the road.
Okay.
I do a few of these trips in the year, and then here and there I hop around. But I'm gone 100 days a year, I think.
A third of the year. That's a big, almost a third. That's big.
Yeah. You said the wife and kids are in Dubai?
Yeah.
How many kids?
2.
How are they liking living there?
Yeah, it's difficult to ask them. The 3 and 5 years old.
Yeah,
so.
Okay.
But did they grow up there? Or did you move?
Yeah, we grew up there. Yeah, Marnix is born in Holland, but I'm already living 10 years in Dubai.
10 years.
So,
wow.
so
So
kids,
you've really seen that country change.
yeah, even in the 10 years. And yeah, I came on 10 years before already, and saw the metro build, the Burj Khalifa being built. It's a phenomenal city to be an entrepreneur.
So do you speak the language out there?
No, you can. English is basically, yes, Arab is the main language, but everybody speaks English, and you can really manage well. What Dubai does phenomenal is that anyone in the world can live and work there. So when I started my company in Dubai, they basically gave me 7 visas to hand out. So I could hire somebody from any country in the world. Would you like to work for me? And I could say, okay, we'd like to work for you. Here you have a visa. Come over to Dubai. So it doesn't matter if you're from India, or Colombia, South Africa, or China.
They're really open as a country to bring in people to come work and get visas. It's not that difficult.
There's we don't have unemployment.
It's not difficult to buy out there either, right?
You can buy property, you can rent, you can lease, you can live. There's in all levels of society there are jobs, and that is what makes this function run. Only 10% of the people in my city are natives. Our natives, how do you call it? Are Emirati, and the rest is all people from abroad. And the city really works. You don't get any handouts. Now everything you gotta do, you gotta pay for it yourself. And if you lose your job or if it stops, there is nobody's gonna help you. Eventually you have to go
get another job.
Yeah, go get another job or go home. But that makes this economy and this country like a super place to be an entrepreneur. And you can find also the skill set of people what we have in my team. That is probably one of my greatest values what we have, because of so many different levels of knowledge and of different specializations you can find in Dubai. And that's really, really remarkable.
How big is the flower industry in Dubai? Like,
it's decent. For me, it's a relatively small market. Yeah, we got 10 million people living. Yeah, maybe what's the flower market like in Atlanta? See it like that.
Okay.
You gotta compare it a bit with something like that.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
But Saudi Arabia next door is really growing. That's a market where, if there's one market where we've been growing in the last 4 years a lot, it's Saudi Arabia, because that country went from very close. Valentine's Day 10 years ago was prohibited. You could not,
Wow.
And women were not allowed to drive. This was really religious, really conservative, and now they're opening up. And it has I think 50 or 60 million people living in that country, and they're very young age. And now all of a sudden they want everything. They had no cinemas 10 years ago.
Now they got pro golf.
There was no
Formula One.
You could not go to the cinema. Think about that.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. And now they want that. They want flowers. You want everything.
They've been missing out, man.
They have nightclubs. They have all that kind of stuff. They want everything that we also have. And therefore, flower business is booming in Saudi Arabia. And we're in Ethiopia, very close to Saudi Arabia. So we love to ship into that market. And this is these new frontiers, I always get very excited about that.
Is Dubai a dry country? Are they allowed to drink?
Yeah, they're
Dubai?
open. Yeah, Dubai. So Dubai is an emirate. It's a state. You see it as a state. And the United Arab Emirates is 7 states. Of these 7 states, 6 are, wet, and one is dry. Yeah. So there is one state where you can.
There's one state where you can't drink.
Where you can't drink. No, but all the others you can, and anything goes in Dubai.
You see where Fern's priorities are when he's thinking about
traveling. If I'm gonna visit somewhere, I don't want to be like, hey, let's go have a drink. You can't have a drink. Wah, wah, wah.
No, they're even opening up casinos.
Are they really?
Yeah, they open up casinos in Ras Al Khaimah. It's one of these states. That's like
playground, man.
What do you think the game would be? Like, what do you think their big game? What do you think they play the most out there?
I don't know.
Poker, blackjack,
probably
baccarat.
Baccarat. That's the
high roller. That's the high roller game. Yeah.
But
I've always looked at those tables and said, I don't know if I'm ready for this.
Not me.
No, but it's bringing tourism in, and they've done that phenomenally well. They look at the European, look at the Asians. Dubai is, and that's nice. You guys live in a tourist city. It's nice to live in a city where a lot of tourists come because you got good restaurants, a lot of things going on. We have nice beaches. So even though you work, if you want to have a good time in the weekend, like here in Miami, you can have a good time.
Right.
But you're in a city where tourists come, and I like that.
Yeah, I like the tourist city. It's fun.
That's a fun city. It's always something
There's
happening.
also a
Always
destination wedding city. You know, it's there's a lot going on. Here.
Yeah,
It's
there's always something going on.
Good for business.
Yeah.
All right, so we flower people. We work a lot, right? What do you do outside of that? What do you do for fun? What are your activities?
Yeah, I have a few things I like. One of the things I enjoy a lot is desert driving. So it's,
Like dune buggies and that kind of thing?
No, like I have a Toyota FJ Cruiser.
Okay, gotcha.
And I have it already for 10 years.
Big wheels, 4x4.
Yeah, it's a 4x4 supercharged. You know, every single year, it's like a hobby. Which
So you're like one of those guys that drives straight up the sand, and you're looking at the car, you're like, oh my god, it's gonna flip, and then boom,
do you go on 2 wheels? You do the 2 wheels?
No, don't do that. No, but I love to. We have an area. Maybe you've seen the Dakar rally.
Yes, I have.
So the Dakar has been in Saudi Arabia, and the most difficult stage was in an area called the Empty Quarter. Mm-hmm. But that's on the border of the UAE, United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia. And that's the area me and my buddy, after I go back from this trip, we go with a group of friends. We have it's not a race, but it's a race, but it's a
friendly race.
A friendly race. Yeah. So we go with a group with 4 cars, and then we have to drive on 3 different coordinates. And that's phenomenal. It's the biggest dunes you can imagine in the world. You have to go over it.
That's so awesome.
And you get in trouble, and sometimes people flip over, and we have situation that you're stuck. And I do this now. I do this race now this is probably the 10th year. And the first 4 years I've never made it till the finish camp.
Oh,
you know, we are a team, so down. You know, it's dark. We didn't make it. And then we're on our own with a little group doing the barbecue
in the middle of nowhere,
middle of nowhere, no phone reception or anything. And then you know that 5 kilometers further, all the other teams are there having a good time and partying, and you just miss it. So that's what I do for fun as a together with friends, because it's nature. This is our nature.
That's awesome.
And Dubai is the desert, and for the rest, I'm training for an Ironman.
Nice.
So it's in July. I have an Ironman in Switzerland. So I'm trying to do a bit of running, swimming, cycling.
What's the numbers like that you're? Was it 40?
Yeah. So the Ironman is 3.8 kilometers of swimming. You know, it's like 2 miles of swimming.
I drown.
2 miles of
swimming.
What
are you talking about?
2 miles of swimming is a lot.
That's a lot of swimming.
How far can you go?
Me, a quarter of a mile.
So
it's actually really relaxed. It's not that complicated. It's as long as you're.
Is it ocean water, lake water?
No, it's ocean water.
Yeah, okay.
Now, this is lake water actually, but in Switzerland it's lake water. But
you're training in now.
Yeah, we do with my buddies every Tuesday and Friday. We swim in the sea. We just go out in the sea for a few kilometers, and it's really, really cool. It's really relaxing. You see.
So the water's really deep. You can't see the bottom. And you're just there happily swimming in the ocean.
You see. Yeah, sometimes you see all kinds of fishes and stuff, and you're in a.
Have you seen anything crazy, like any big shark?
No, I haven't seen any sharks.
Like one of those big sunfish that that swim towards the top of the water.
No, we don't have that. We do have that. You sometimes swim into like sardines or like a whole, like a huge like.
I'd be terrified. All these sardines, something's hunting
big
them.
school of them.
Yeah, so that's quite nice. And then after that, you have to do cycle 180 kilometers. So yeah, that's like 110, 120 miles.
My God!
In the Swiss Alps, you said, right?
And you're doing this back to back, or is this
you go after you're swimming, you jump on your bike, and then you cycle that, and then after that, you finish with a marathon.
In one day.
Yeah, in one day. Yeah. Maybe
in one day.
I mean, I've lost some weight, but I'm not in shape for that. I died 3 times just thinking of his story.
Who was the other guest that does the triathlete? Was it Coxfloor? Marcos?
Might have been. I'm not sure. I don't think I was here.
I'm wondering if this is a common thread in the flower industry.
Do you train do you go to areas where there's high altitude to train? Because there's a lot of cyclists in Ecuador, and people come train from all over the world in the mountains of Ecuador. to train in that high altitude to deprive yourself of oxygen? Do you go to anything like that?
No, I'm a pretty much amateur. I just want to finish.
You just want to finish. I love
That's awesome.
That's his model. His shirt's gonna say, "Just want to finish."
No, I just try to train a little bit amongst these travels and stuff. It's not easy, but
That's crazy. Man.
yeah,
That's awesome.
at least
Kudos
I
to you.
was on the farm last week, so there I could do some running and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's not easy, but every day you can slot in an hour.
Which is your favorite leg?
Swimming?
Swimming.
I love swimming.
Yeah.
It's super nice, and it's really relaxing.
I'm still tripping out that he swims in the middle of the ocean 2 miles out. I'm just thinking of like, I want to be by the
Cramp up at
sandbar.
any point.
I want to be right next to the sandbar. They were telling me I have a friend in the city of Coral Gables. And the city of Coral Gables, since they're surrounded by so much water in the fire department, you have to be an excellent swimmer. So if you've seen most firefighters here, they look like, they work out every day. They got these giant muscles, and they make them wade in the water for 45 minutes and then swim a mile in. And if you can't do that, you can't be a firefighter for the city of Coral Gables. He's like, all the big dudes cramp up and like almost drown out there. It's like, great. Good to know.
It's all about cardio.
Yeah, but it's swimming also. It's if you go on low, if you have any sports, if you do it and you train a bit for it on a very low heart rate, you can keep on going.
Yeah.
You just keep on going. Anyone can keep on going. And for some person that's walking, and for the other person that's running or cycling. But as long as you do it on a low, low heart rate,
That's
it
pretty
should be
cool.
fine.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you're here for Woofsa,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Here
For
for
Woofsa action.
here for Wusa. So we're processing the flowers here in the back today.
That's
and
right. That's right.
thanks to Chat Fresh for her help. And tomorrow I'm building up my booth. I have a golf bag where I put the whole booth
All
in.
the pop-up signs.
Yeah,
all
a
that
few
stuff.
pop-up signs
Yeah.
and trying to it's eventually trips like this is super interesting to hear the feedback. You always hear different feedback.
Sure.
Because we're living remote, we're working remote. You guys as well. In a way, you're selling to customers all over the country, and these few exhibitions, either in the Netherlands or here, or in Colombia later, give you the real feedback, and people will really tell you, okay, this was great, or this was totally shit, or I want this, or can you work on this problem, and that creates an understanding, and it's super
If
important.
anybody tells you your product's totally shit, they need to look in the mirror, man. Your stuff's awesome. You've done a great job for us. Really have. The only time we've ever had a challenge has really been because it was a transportation challenge. It was a delayed shipment or something like that. Aside from that, your product's, pretty bulletproof. It's awesome. Great item to sell. It's awesome for the sales team to have a product to sell that they can sell confidently that they're not going to have any challenges. It's very rare. We have a challenge as a company. So thank you for that. We appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, and the team and everybody works very hard.
Exactly.
There's a very big group behind us who makes that happen. But then still, you always
Man,
Love it.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Great story, by the way. I didn't know you were a family company. That's awesome. That's good to hear. Do we have any questions from? I know we got an email.
Oh, we got an email
We
from
got an email.
Cameron. So I don't know if you listen or not, but for the last couple of weeks we've been debating if a hot dog counts as a sandwich, which is just a random debate for some reason we've been getting into. Cameron, our vice president of the Fat Guys fan club, he had Chat GPT, which is an AI software. He asked that to have the debate for us, which the results were still pretty inconclusive. It's basically what you define a sandwich.
It's
It's a politician's answer where it's what you define a sandwich is what your answer is. So if you don't think a sandwich is that, then it's not. But if it is. But that shit is cool, man. Joel and I've been messing around with the AI stuff. Like,
Look, I know that
it's a whole new world out there of that.
Some of the older generation doesn't like the AI or the AI pictures.
There's
some of the things.
there's
Like when you
just
put
as
those
many good
pictures-
things as there's going to be problems with it.
Yeah.
Like it's going to have both.
Like
Absolutely.
Like you put those pictures up, and there were some comments that were like,
Oh,
"Oh
yeah.
my god."
Have you seen any of these, Willem?
Yeah, I've seen it. I'm mind boggled by what AI can do.
I think it's amazing what AI can do. That there's a computer software, or
Right.
computer
But
itself
it is
can
a
do it.
little scary, the fact that it's
Guys, we're making the
it's evolving
Terminator.
so quickly.
We're making the Terminator. We are one day going to fight the machines. Prepare yourself.
We're going to run out of the precious gems before anything happens.
We will.
No, No, but from an optimization standpoint, for companies or I think you're looking at the same revolution as you have when the internet kicks in. That is
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've had it write captions for videos and posts on social
I've used that
media.
a lot.
We've had it. We've done like the whole like Gerber month banner. If you look at our comment sales and stuff like that, that's
all AI.
That's all AI made. We just add some stuff on top of it. But we're just scratching the surface, getting in there, and more stuff gets developed every day. There's stuff for videos, auto subtitles.
I refuse to let the machines replace me.
We already deal with the problem that people come with the Pinterest pictures of flowers that don't exist. Like it already exists. Like you already have that issue. Like this isn't gonna. I mean, it's gonna make that problem way worse. It's gonna be like that's a fake product. People are gonna be like, obviously, it's a fake flower. Like that's not a real thing. But just people are gonna have an issue for that for obvious.
It's awesome. It's amazing. I mean, man,
It's
we're really in the future right now. Technology is just starting to take off.
But take a look in this office, in your own office or in my office. How many people are still typing stuff in, or copy pasting stuff over?
Mm-hmm.
That I gotta go. And I had early in the week, I was in my office, and one of my colleagues using Chat GPT to optimize Excel in some Excel formulas. Hey, I have a problem with this Excel formula. Can you take a look and optimize it?
That's crazy.
And like encoding as well. That
codes, exactly.
You can go into your code, say, hey, could you analyze this code? I want to make it faster. I want to optimize it. Okay, do it like this. That kind of stuff that we can start linking all these systems, because it's nonsense that
we'll be able to optimize the day and have more time for thinking and problem solving instead of,
processing orders, typing things in.
Trying to fill out an Excel spreadsheet, you know?
Yeah, it's automation. Making things easier for everybody.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
And that is the low. People look at the really complicated stuff of AI, and people always look at, the truly most complicated thing these can do. But it's the low-hanging fruit of day-to-day businesses who are just paper pushers or pushing information or recording invoices or stuff. Yeah. Later, you just put it in the accounting system, and it goes on. And that is where massive amount of efficiency can be made, and I think that efficiency is like the same efficiency what you saw with the internet and stuff is gonna kick in very rapidly.
I assume it's more accepted where you live in Dubai, right? Is it more advanced, or is it not more advanced, but is it more like adapted and people are using it more, or do you think it's pretty?
No, I think everybody's still scratching the surface. I think you guys are already quite ahead with what you're doing with these graphic things. I'm still looking like, okay, which AI system should I use? What is good? I think we're really, really scratching the surface.
I was going to do that, the AI pictures and all that. And then I was like, it asked for too much information. I gave up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that app sucks because it makes you post like 20 pictures of your stuff, and then you have to pay like every time it's like $8. And then half the time,
it asked for too much.
They got their money though. Everybody that did it 1 week, they did it. There was like 1 week, like a month ago.
No, a little more.
But like everybody was posting these like the AI art inspired pictures that one app. But nowadays we're using MidJourney for most of the things.
MidJourney is the best one.
Yeah.
In terms of making.
Are you using this a lot, Joel? This is something you're trying to incorporate.
When he's not working, he's doing that. Like he's
I'm mastering that.
Is there a class or a course you're taking?
No, I'm just
YouTube.
No, not even YouTube. I just put anything I want, and then I just try to see how I can advance it.
So MidJourney is like the visual.
That's
great for visuals.
That's the best one.
Where's your list? He's got a whole list of shit.
So there's MidJourney, and that one it creates any art. There's Chat.
And then there's like once you start making the art, there's websites and stuff that tell you like what prompts to type in to get certain styles. And you can look at references of this picture and like, oh, I like that idea. What did they type in?
So it's like an AI helping another.
It's
AI.
open, like it's not secretive. Like everything that you make, it's kind of like out there. So like people can see what you made and just steal it or just improve it or add on top of it.
Build upon. How did you build that? Wow.
Yeah.
But it's actually putting art on steroids, because some artists say, oh, I find it so bad that my art's being copied. But at the same time, you can also argue now people with a mind, maybe who are not so skilled with Photoshop or stuff, can be creative.
Can just create
I consider myself an artist. I don't have one style. I'm not a painter in that kind of art sense, but like I make all kinds of different things, and this is just another tool on the tool belt. You know what I mean? There's ways like there was things that would take me hours to Photoshop to visualize that this thing made in seconds.
Nice.
It could still do it, but it's all about saving the time. And there's still, art, there's the mistakes is the art, you know what I mean? Putting it in and doing things and deciding what you want to keep and what you want to take away. Like that's where the art comes through. So like true art, I guess it would still always be there in a way, but
This goes faster.
Yeah, this is different. This
Look
is,
at the dogs. I use that.
Where's Piper?
I gotta make everybody.
So we made one
You're
dog,
You're on
like a
waiting
little
list.
cute little puppy
No,
of
man.
Jet, the
You gotta
dog here.
bump me up, bro.
Now everybody in the office, because we all have dogs, everybody's
I'm
requesting.
gonna start watching. I'm gonna start watching what
laundry
time
list
you
of-
get in
of,
the morning.
I have
if I don't
like
get a Piper.
I have
picture.
like 20 lists.
He's got a list. He's gonna start charging these
Everybody's
people.
on the waiting list.
Yeah.
No. I need to be put to the top, or I'm gonna start paying attention to what
It's a
time you
thought that we
get
have
in the
outside.
morning. I'm watching you.
There's things about it that's weird. Like we did like certain flowers and things like people
Certain
holding
flowers
flowers.
don't work.
Like sometimes like the hands get all warped. Like it doesn't look like
Yeah.
or like that. So
Yeah, it's Chat GPT.
you know what I mean?
I mean,
That's crazy.
Yeah, but it's also in a way that these tools, these engines, are gonna progress very fast.
Right,
These
exactly.
these chips and the systems behind it,
Awesome.
and some of these art is still low definition. But like that stuff, what you showed me, what you have on your social media, it's
MidJourney,
high
it's
def.
so detailed. It's extremely detailed.
Yeah, it's
It's
high
like-
definition,
that was so
top notch
awesome.
shit.
Awesome. I thought it was so awesome that a computer made that. That is the what
And
a
it
computer is
takes-
able to visualize.
like a minute max. It takes a minute at the most.
Wow.
If we think about how much time we've spent photoshopping you and my dad onto random bodies and
Yeah,
things
now it can be
for flyers and deals of the days.
Great. That's what Ryan needed.
That's what I think of. I
That's
think of
what
all that
Ryan
time
needed.
that I could have
Another
saved.
tool. Another tool.
It's
To
not
run
the
with.
best with people yet. It's not like really, really good yet, but it's still
No, but
improving though.
right.
But think about the time before Photoshop, before the internet.
Oh,
you know how you
Yeah,
had
you
to
have
make
to-
collages. You need
That
to
was-
cut things out and put
Hell
it.
yeah. That's how
That's
I learned.
art in the past.
That's how I learned how to do graphic design, was cutting everything out manually. The whole class was manually cutting things out and doing everything just with paper. It's a fucking nightmare. That would be terrible. I thought about it like it'd be cool to like bring that back now with AI and like make the deals of the day by hand and like record you making it all by hand, but that's so much work. That's so much time to do that.
That's it. The AI will soon be making the deals of the day.
They
Thank you,
already
Cameron.
started,
Thank
man.
you
They
for
already
bringing that
started.
to the forefront, man. That is pretty awesome.
I think it already can make like a
I think AI is going to
deal with
make
me.
your deal of the day
Yeah, no,
because
it's coming. Absolutely.
AI will tell you, guys, this is coming in, this is going to happen, and you're
Yeah.
going to make this
Yeah.
product the deal of the day. It's
Common
not-
Sales is, I guarantee you, Common Sales has got Chat GPT going somewhere in
They
their
have
system.
has to be,
They have.
Yeah,
has to be.
for sure.
Alejandro has to be
Oh,
into
yeah, he's
that.
on it. He's been on
I'm
it.
gonna ask him. You better be a Wilson now.
He is. He's on part of the Bloom show, wasn't he?
There you. Yeah, he is. Yeah,
Yeah.
he is. Good
Okay.
stuff. Man, anything else? Do we have any other?
We'll do the
seg-
quick questions.
Did
for
Joel?
Willem.
Hold on.
He didn't
hold on.
watch a movie. No.
no, I didn't watch.
It's gonna have to be a bi-weekly thing. I think he's not gonna commit to. He's
This guy's
he's
too
flaky.
busy with his AI.
flaky. All right, so we're gonna ask you a few random questions. They're very random, so just give us your initial answer, okay? What is, in your opinion, the best sandwich?
Club sandwich.
What
Wait,
is-
Whoa. What is a clip sandwich?
Club
Club.
club
Club.
sandwich.
Club, man, come on.
Sorry,
You know,
man.
Come on, man.
Eggs and bacon and
Yeah,
lettuce.
we
and
got you. We all know what you meant. What is your favorite flower?
Dahlia.
Okay. What is the scariest animal?
It's not a shark.
I was about to say.
Huh?
It might be. He just said he didn't see him.
The scariest animal. Oof. Yeah, that's a difficult one. I can't. No,
No problem.
No, skip that one.
Have you ever asked someone for their autograph?
Yeah, Ronaldo, the old Ronaldo from the
Brazil.
Brazil.
from Brazil. Yeah,
Did he give it to you?
Ronaldo.
yeah, he gave it to me. Yeah,
Okay. All
yeah.
right,
I was a kid.
Sometimes they don't, you know. They
Yeah.
don't. What is the most overrated flower?
Ooh. The most overrated flower.
Unless you want to think the most underrated flower, you can answer that one instead.
No, I skipped that one. I find
Florius, Coco, Hypericum. Most underrated flower.
What's your go-to way to relax?
Swimming.
You get one artist or band to listen to for the rest of your life. You can only listen to this one artist or band. Could you pick one?
Oof. Ooh, that's complicated.
Yeah, no, it's
That's bad.
it's a messed up question.
Yeah, no, we eventually
all right,
then you
it's
need
all right.
you need an artist who has like a big portfolio.
Yeah, right.
The Rolling Stones.
Okay.
Okay, good one.
At your funeral, what kind of flowers would you like?
Oof. I don't want a funeral.
No, that's what the question kind of turned into. Like, how did, like, you know what I mean? People say, like, I don't want a funeral. Just
I'm
throw
training
me in a river.
for the Iron Man.
Just
I'm
throw
not
me in
trying
the
to die, is
ocean.
what he said.
Yeah.
No flower. I'm not a big funeral fan. I don't like funerals.
You get one superpower. What would it be?
Ooh. A superpower, what would it be? Yeah, I think endless life.
That's a good one.
Nice. Invincible.
Do you just keep getting older and older and older, or do you just stay
No,
your
I just
age?
I think I'm 37. It's a pretty good age.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll stay like this.
Stay like this forever.
All right, and last question. No, 2 questions. Sorry. Pick a movie or TV character to have lunch with.
A movie or TV character to have lunch with. Oof. Yeah, it's too complicated.
You're gonna have to phone in another time.
Yeah,
and give us your
get
answers
some answers.
Once you
You
think of
owe
these
us some
answers.
answers.
And then, do you have someone that you would like to suggest to be a guest on this podcast?
Ooh.
Anybody in the industry or out of the industry?
Yeah, who would it be an interest? No, yeah, maybe if you go onto AI, Alejandro might be a nice one from Comet.
Yeah,
Why not?
definitely.
You know, he's a guy with
We had
always had a-
Alejandro.
He was one of the early episodes, very early. So like,
We'll have to.
I'm sure he's got a whole
redo it
bunch of
again.
new stuff
Yeah.
going on that we could bring him back.
Yeah, another guy who's
Now I want to know what he's doing with AI and when they're gonna update the system and when it's gonna give me trouble.
yeah, that's always an interesting man. Guys like Pat Dawson from Mayor is
Sure.
always
Yeah,
interesting.
absolutely.
He's always a good vision on the industry and stuff. So yeah, maybe.
Great suggestions. I like it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, man. We appreciate you being a guest and taking some time while you're here to be on the podcast with us. We appreciate that.
We're sorry you didn't get the full fatty experience with the other fatty that's out for today. Sorry.
No, you will be around.
Yeah.
No, thank you very much for inviting me. It was fun to do this first podcast ever.
Okay.
Nice. We popped
Do you
this
listen to
chair.
podcasts?
Not so much. I listen to the radio.
When you run, you're on the bike?
Yeah, I have like music on, but I also put like how do you call it? Like NPR radio, Dutch NPR.
Sure.
Yeah, like a bit of talking radio that I
Yeah.
like, which is in a way a podcast.
It's like a podcast.
Do you
like
have
a
an
podcast.
Iron Man playlist, like a set list that you go to, or
no,
you kind of
much.
mix it up?
Just anything,
Cool.
just random.
Nice.
Every time you say Iron Man, I think of like
Yeah, I do
Iron
too.
Man
I thought
and,
when I
like,
said it, I did think it too.
Yeah, I think that's where it's about, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Too
Superman.
funny.
Superhero.
Too funny. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to another episode of Two Fat Guys Talking Flowers, where we're always going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly about flowers. I'm Fern, Joel, Ryan. Mike misses you guys. He's not here. And our awesome guest, Willum from Florius Flowers. Thank you so much, man. It's been a great episode.